Okay, my recommendation is to look at this and try to understand the visual nature of the problem. So it's find the area lying to the right of, and someone says, I don't understand what that means. I want to visualize it first. And looking at this thing, it's a parabola. I'm gonna say it looks sort of like this over here. All right, I'll put some points down. I'm visualizing this right now. So, for example, when x is 0, the y would be minus 9. I'm sorry, when the y is 0, the x would be minus 9. I misspoke there. So this is this point over here. Now, this is where the y is 0. I'm sorry, the x is 0. And what would you get there? You get plus or minus 3 for the y. So that's my visual understanding of that. Now I'm looking at the other guy, and I know there's a 5 here, and it's opening the other direction now. So I know this is going to be opening like this, but I wonder where they intersect. All right, so this point over here is going to be 5, 0. Now for me to get them intersect, I got to set them equal to one another. So y squared minus 9 would be equal to 5 minus y squared. Kind of looks nasty, doesn't it? Let's go through it. And what do you get there? Let's see. You're going to get 2y squared. And if I add 9, that's 14. So that means y squared would equal 7. So that means the y would equal plus or minus the square root of 7. All right? So I'm going to say, looking at it, let's go through that. And it's going to look sort of like this over here. And again, these are just, rough pictures. All right. So I got something that looks like this over here. All right. Now, if you want to figure those points out, you can. They're really not bad to do. For example, this point here, let's write that down. So you plug it in where you like, by the way. I'll plug it in here. And what would that be? 7 minus 9 minus 2, right? So the x would be minus 2, and the y would be minus root 7. What's up here, this point? Oh, minus 2 plus root 7, right? So I have a visual understanding of the problem. Maybe too many details in it, but right now I'm looking for a representative rectangle. And I would say something like this over here, all right? So the upper and lower are consistent, all right? I'm going to put an integration down now, and I'm going to write down that my differential's y, so dy, and I'm looking, where the y's are going from, and I'm going to say from minus root 7 up to root 7. Now, I got to get the upper curve minus the lower curve. The upper curve is, it's actually an x-coordinate, and that's this curve over here. It's the upper curve. So what's he actually equal to? 5 minus y squared minus the lower curve. What's the lower curve? This guy over here, and that's this one right over here. So it's y squared minus 9. Let's go through the process. You're going to get 5 minus a minus 9, which is going to be 14. And then you can get minus 2y squared dy. Now, I'd like to stop and just make sure I said that right, because 5 minus minus 9 is 5 plus 9, which is 14. Minus y squared is minus 2y squared. Let's keep moving. It's going to be 14y minus 2y cubed over 3. And we're going to integrate from minus root 7 up to root 7. All right, I got to do the arithmetic now. Let me get my eraser out. I get this distracting over here. That's from the prior problem. We finished that off. I did make the correction in notes already. You're not going to see that error. Let's write this down. What do you get? 14 root 7s minus 2/3. Now, when you cube root 7, let me point out what I mean by that. When you cube root 7, I don't mean to do that. When you cube root 7, it's going to be like 7 because I have 2 square roots of 7 and then 1 left over, which is a root 7. It's 7 root 7s. Put a little dot there. Right, minus, what are you going to get there? Minus 14 root 7s. And then you're going to get, well, it's going to be minus and minus, it's going to be plus now. It's going to be 2 thirds times 7 root 7. All right, we just did that. So I'm going to look at it and see if I can do the arithmetic. And I'm going to say, I'm going to do these 2 terms here because they're really very easy to do. You get 14 minus 7 minus 14, which is 14 plus 14. So that's 28 root 7s. And then I'm going to do these guys over here. And what do you get there? You get minus, well, you're getting 2 of those things. So it's going to be 4 thirds times 7 root 7. All right? So what am I going to do here? I guess one thing I could do is get a common denominator of 3. And what do you get there? Well, you get 3 times 28. I'll write this down. 3 times 28 root 7s minus, well, 4 times 7 is just 28 root 7s. So what do you get? You get actually 2 root 28. And 2 times 28 is going to be 56 root 7 over 3. All right? Now, again, depending who you are, you might say, that's really tough to do, or I'm going to use a calculator to do that. But I'm kind of curious, am I getting the right answer? And before I do anything, I want to point out, did I get the right integration down? Right? Did I understand the problem? Let's take a look at it, see if I wrote that down. And yeah, I wrote that down. It's right over here. I got that part down. Did I get the right antiderivative down? I don't know. Let's take a look at that. And yeah, I think so. It's right over here. 14y minus 2 thirds. Yeah, y cubed did all right. And was able to get the arithmetic right. And the arithmetic, I'd say it's really tough, but I got that. It's probably the worst part of the problem. 56 root 7s over 3. And again, they approximated. I'm not going to check that out, by the way. If you have any complaints, though, about my notes, for example, you think there's a trouble with it, please email me. All right, or stop by my office anyway. My email address is Bannon, B as in boy, @NNON.US. Thank you.